won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
Got to get that last bite in.
You caught me off guard. I wasn't gonna put the screen up until you were done biting.
I got myself off guard, I think. High noon and welcome in. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Mitch Thunder Nellis, Charlie Gentle Giant Usen here with you today. As it is, this is the problem with using colloquialisms that aren't really appropriate for the moment. Part of me, with regards to the Packers training camp, wants to make mention that it is the calm before the storm, realizing how out of touch that will sound today in the state of Wisconsin, especially for those of you in the Menasha, Appleton, Neenah area, Menasha specifically, just getting absolutely, truly hurt yesterday by Mother Nature. So before we dive into Packers training camp and a late night Brewers loss, and the softness of some of our major league players, for which Pat Murphy tried to not apologize or use an excuse, but apologize and use an excuse for the players. We'll get into that. We want to send our thoughts and our prayers to everybody who's been affected. All reports right now, and I think these are still the reports. I haven't seen any changes since I saw this about an hour ago. No casualties from the storms yesterday. The tornado has now been upgraded to a level 3 tornado. And the destruction, as we look at, Google Images. I live in Whitefish Bay, and as I left the studio yesterday, I said to Charlie, like, I was going to stay here, but I decided to go home just because I wanted to get home in time. And as I got home, my street was flooded with water. Now, half an hour later, it was cleared because it was very quick where I live. But I know in other places it wasn't as quick. I know in other places there are still 50,000 residents in Wisconsin without power now. I saw some video of some power lines being snapped in half in Appleton. I can't imagine when some of those people are going to get their power back. So really, really serious stuff going on. And I know that there are plans on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. I know Trevor talked about it a little bit this morning on his show on WNFL about some of the churches and some of the lodges that are open to people who yesterday had a home and today do not. And so I think it's something, to keep things in perspective, as we have to do, whenever real life becomes real. And yesterday real life became real. And so hopefully the aid, the insurance, the local and municipal and state and federal governments and whoever needs to help get people back to whole are able to do that. And so as I in my head, I'm like, oh, it's the calm before the storm. Tomorrow is really our training camp. Well, we had the storm. The storm was yesterday. And again, we hope those really affected are okay or will be okay, because with the acknowledgement that a lot of them are not okay right now. We absolutely get that. I saw the pictures of Menasha High School's bleachers of their football field. And again, that's their football field. That's not people's houses. That's not people's businesses. That's not people's livelihoods. But just like half the bleachers just torn apart, but the structure, like the outer casing of the bleachers and the press box still intact. Like, it's so weird how you could see a line of houses just destroyed and then a house right next to them not destroyed. I have a friend who lived in I'm going to forget the name of where the California wildfires were a few years ago, and his whole block burned down, and his house did not. Like it's just like the whims of the winds. Like he lived on a block, and every house was touched by fire. Some burned all the way down to the studs, and his house was like singed barely on the outside, and everything was fine inside. And it's like he has survivor's guilt, and I get that people will have that as well. But remember to turn that into positivity, turn that into kindness, turn that into a donation, turn that into a volunteering opportunity, whatever that might look like. And so we are, today I look outside and it's mid 70s and it's beautiful throughout the state of Wisconsin, I believe. I haven't looked at the entire forecast for the state, but I believe those storms have passed. I don't know what it was like. We left the air yesterday talking about how Muskegon and Grand Rapids and Michigan looked like it was going to get hit really hard. And I'm guessing they did. I haven't, I don't follow their story as much as I follow our story here in the state of Wisconsin. But to everybody affected, and if you know somebody affected, hopefully everybody's okay. I know my daughter, who's up in Eagle River at a camp, they had their power out for most of the day. I know a couple of camps nearby had some significant damage from falling trees into cabins and stuff like that. And I know Eagle River itself had trees that were down. Luckily, there was no damage at their camp, except they had the inconvenience of not having power for 8 hours in the middle of, yes, it was color war, of course.
Of course.
I think she was on yellow, and I think green ended up winning. So
was there only yellow and green? Like, how does color war work at this game? I never did summer camp.
So color war is typically between 4 and 6 teams, I would say. My camp always had 6, and then every once in a while we do 8. Like we always did red, blue, yellow, green, white, and gray, maybe, or maybe white and gray with the extra ones. I don't know.
Gray's lame.
Yeah, well, because everybody has those colored T-shirts. Everybody's got a white T. You need something. So I think they usually do their camp usually does either 4 or 6. So I know there was yellow and green and blue and red for sure. I don't know what else there was. So again, that's what I'm going to say about that. If you want to chime in on the talk and text line with stories of the storm from yesterday, 414-677-1250. If you're doing okay, if you're not doing okay, if you need a virtual hug, I can definitely provide that. If you're here right now, I could give you a real hug. But we turn to the world of sports, the distraction that sports is. Unfortunately, our Milwaukee Brewers could not provide said positive distraction for us last night. Last year, my softball team won the championship out of nowhere. We were like the bottom of the rankings.
Bad News Bears of your softball.
We weren't quite
league?
Bad News Bears, but
okay.
we were like in the middle of the pack. Halfway through the season, they divide the teams into the top region and the bottom region. We got put in the top region. We were kind of hoping we'd be like the top team in the bottom region, and we ended up winning. So this year, we played well all year long. We got put in the top region, and we've been terrible in the playoffs. Like we've lost every, like we just can't hit because there's expectations, right? There's pressure. I felt like with all that, our softball team is hitting better than the Brewers did last night.
Not hard.
No, not hard at all. Just terror. I mean, a 3-0 loss to a guy who's had a long, nice Major League Baseball career, but has been terrible this year in Tyler Mahle. And they were making a big point on the TV broadcast last night that he essentially was auditioning. Like he was auditioning to get sent to somewhere else where he could pitch or he could play in a playoff race. But for the Brewers last night, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 total base runners, 3 double plays that they grounded into, I believe, 2 by Garrett Mitchell, where he hit it right to the shortstop, who was right next to the base. So even with his speed, it was getting doubled up. Hits from Churio, Bowers, and Vaughn. That was it. Walks from Vaughn and Pratt. Joey Ortiz did not hit his way out of the third base hex. So maybe we were a little too high on him?
No, I think we're still okay. I think we're still okay. It's one game.
It's one game.
He still is worse at shortstop, even with one bad game at third base. Let's not forget that.
So but then I saw the news after the game, and I feel like this is like, I'm trying to like decide, like, do I want to go on this rant and scream and go nuts and be real negative? Do I want to be calm and negative? Or do I want to be like, oh yeah, so for those of you who saw it, whether you saw it or not, after the game, our buddy Murph, who we love Murph. You're a Brewers fan, you love Murph. Regardless of like individual decisions that you might not love. We love Murph. I don't know where it is in his post-game comments, so I don't want to play those. But essentially, when the Brewers were leaving Milwaukee on Sunday, following the laughable win over the hapless Colorado Rockies, they were stuck on the tarmac. The plane had issues, so they were stuck for like 5 hours. And Murph said, I don't want to use it as an excuse, or I don't want to, this isn't a reason why we couldn't hit or we were lethargic, but like we got in way later than we were supposed to, and it messes with everybody. And while I agree with all of that, first of all, the Brewers charter airplane is not like me and you getting stuck on a plane on the tarmac for 5 hours. It is full-sized, man-sized leather seats. It is everyone has their device and an iPad and a TV.
It's a go when you go type of thing. You don't really have a schedule to be on.
It is full catered, whatever food they ordered or had or wanted, these types of things. I don't know what the situation was with, like, could they get off the plane and go hang out at Signature or whatever it's called, that area at Mitchell Airport. I've flown out of Signature once.
Oh, that's fun.
I did. I flew out of Signature once. That's not true. I landed at Signature once.
Okay, that's.
I didn't fly out. When the Badgers were in their first Final Four of the two Final Fours, the radio company I was working for, rhymes with Bud Garma Carmasting, or Crans, they are now, chartered a plane for like the big Badger sponsors that they were working with at the time. And so Homer and I took a regular plane down to Dallas.
Right.
We did our shows from this awesome steakhouse, and that only had locations in Dallas and Denver. I think I still have their pullover, Cool River or something like that, something Bad River, something River. It was great. We did our shows. Andy Kowski came by, Charlie Wills came by, a bunch of old Badger. Michael Finley was there for a night. It was great. Well, we did not stay for the championship game. As we know, the Badgers lost at the last second to Kentucky, and then they missed the shot. And a couple of the people who were on the charter plane wanted to stay for the championship game. So there were a couple extra seats. So the owner of Bud Garma Crodbrasting was like, hey, we got to Homer Thunder, you guys. So we got to ride the plane. I remember we had to stop like in Oklahoma to refuel. I mean, it was an 8-seater.
That's not a problem.
Not a problem at all.
Not a
Just
fancy plane, who cares?
stopped for like 20 minutes. They refueled. We took off again, and we were here. And so that was nice. But the point of the story is the plane the Brewers are on is not the plane that we are on. The physical toll it takes on the Brewers for being delayed on a plane and then checking into their 5-star hotel and sleeping till whenever they sleep. Like, Murph, I'd rather you not even bring it up. Because you bringing it up is making an excuse. Whether you say this is not a reason or this is not an excuse, you are bringing up the reason. You are making an excuse. Charlie, I don't know if you felt that same way. Like, I'm not ranting and raving, right?
No,
like I'm calm in my taking Murph to task a little bit. Like, either bring it up and say, hey, we were a mess today. Like, guys did not get the night's sleep they needed to get. And like, we should be better, but we were a mess. And this is why. or don't bring it up at all. But don't say, "Oh, by the way, we were delayed."
Well, and
But
it would be different if this Brewers team was making mistakes or doing things that they've never done before. But the Brewers have done this before, have games like this where they just hit singles, they hit into a bunch of double plays, leave guys on base, like stuff like that. That's all things that the Brewers have had problems with in the past. And I think if you're going to play the LA Dodgers, let's say, and your plane gets delayed and you get messed up a little bit, like that's a little bit more reasonable. You're still playing the Giants. That's kind of where this comes down to, is this is one of the worst teams in baseball, and you went and you really crap the bed in front of everybody. Like that's not a good reason to say that, hey, yeah, we were delayed a little bit, but when all you're doing is relaxing anyways in that 5 hours, like you're saying, I'm sure they get to go to a lounge or sit on this fancy plane and watch a couple movies. Like you're going to be fine. You need to step up a little bit better and beat the teams that you're supposed to beat at this point in the season.
Brandon Sproat, 6 innings, 3 runs, gives up a 2-run homer to Grant McCray. On Friday, July 10th, Grant McCray went 0 for 1. He did steal a base and score a run in that game, but he was 0 for 1. Then Sunday the 12th, he was 0 for 0. Again, he stole a base and scored a run, so maybe he pinch ran or something. He didn't walk. Then on the 8th, he didn't play for 6 more days till the 18th, where he must have just been a defensive replacement because he has no box line. The next day, he played at Seattle, went 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Then Friday the 24th against the Angels, again, walked and scored a run after a stolen base. 3 stolen bases, not bad. Then on Sunday the 26th, he was 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So he did not have a hit this season. And then he just like cranks one into the left field bleachers. And
I feel like that's how it goes, though. Like, even if it is
that
just
is
Sproat.
so Brandon Sproat.
Even if
like
it
that's
is
so
just
Brewers, but it's also like so Brandon Sproat specifically to like focus and lock in against everybody, and then just like groove one to Grant McCray and let him just jack one.
Well, and it's the same thing that I've been saying all year with Brandon Sproat. Super high pitch count by that point in the game, and then he gives up that first home run, and then from that point on, it just feels like everything's going to start going downhill,
like
and you
teetering.
just don't get that out of anybody else.
Right, and it didn't run-wise, it didn't necessarily go downhill after that. But
if the Brewers could score a few runs, they could at least stay in this game and help.
And he got you 6 innings. You know, I think the issue that we're going to keep running into with him is not 6 hits in 6 innings. It's the 3 walks in 6 innings. It's the 9 base runners in 6 innings.
It's at least 1 home run every 6 innings.
Yeah, a home run every single game. I still like. I watch Sproat pitch, and I still think like there's something there. I do. But
it's just those things that we're talking about. Like, when he gives up that home run, that's his problem. When he's everything around that, he's fine. That strikeout pitch is his problem. That's why he ends up with so many walks at this point in the season. Like, if he can
5 yesterday, which was not bad.
If he can just lock those things down, and I think 5 comes from the fact that you're playing the San Francisco Giants. Like, he still has 3 walks against this team, which is frustrating because he just shouldn't have that. Throw strikes. Be confident, be aggressive in your pitch because you're confident through strikes 1 and 2. Why does strike 3 throw you off so bad? Like, just go out there and try to shut it down. And you would think he would maybe learn a little bit from guys like Jacob Mizorowski, who's on this team, who doesn't care. He just goes out there and throws whatever pitch he wants. And if he's having fun with you, maybe he'll start doing crazy things like we saw against Colorado, which ended up getting him in a little bit of trouble eventually. But before that, he's just fastball, because he just knows if he's confident in that pitch, he can get most of these guys out.
Right.
Brandon Sproat needs to take some of that confidence that Jacob Mizorowski has and just say, you know what? Yes, I may give up a home run. Yes, I may give up a hit, but I need to be aggressive and I need to attack the zone because these guys are now starting to become aware that I'm just not going to do that on that strikeout pitch.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talking text line. Your thoughts on Brandon Sproat, your thoughts on the Brewers being stuck for 5 hours on the tarmac on Tuesday. And again, kind of like we saw against the Rockies, the Brewers lost the first game of the series. It's not the end of the world. There's plenty of time to respond. There's the next 2 games, and then there's a day off before they play at the Angels, who also are pretty terrible. So this is the type of road trip where you expect 4-2. They should win the series. You don't necessarily expect a sweep. It'd be nice if they didn't start the series like they did against Colorado and now against San Francisco with losses. But there's plenty of time to make this okay. We'll talk more about the Brewers at the 1 o'clock hour or in the 1 o'clock hour at the top of the hour with Paul Wagner when he joins us. We also want to talk some Packers training camp. I don't believe, look at my watch. Well, I don't know. I'm not wearing a watch, and I don't know what my watch would have anything to do with it. I don't believe Micah Parsons has been put on the PUP list yet.
Not yet. It was supposed to be today.
Yeah, it's going to be today. Like, I'll guarantee that. I'll 99.9% that. Should I shave a mohawk if he doesn't?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I've had a mohawk, so it's not that big a deal. I'm old now, so it's like not as cool or something. I don't know.
I think it's still cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go down to like mustache too. Like an old punk
No,
rocker.
Mrs. Thunder is very anti the mustache.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't hate the mohawk.
All right.
And she's, I think the mustache is the thing she hates the second most that I have to do with my face. Every once in a while, if I get a good beard going, I'll shave half my face
and just leave that.
And just like wait till somebody notices. And like she notices within 0.2 seconds. Is like, no, get in the
I feel like that happens more often than you're letting on.
Yes.
Every time you grow your beard.
No, not every time. So 414-677-1250, your thoughts. We've got some good thoughts coming up on the YouTube video stream as well. YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, X, all the things. And of course, that is the Growth Law video stream on all the lives at WI Sports Radio. If you're injured, Growth gets it. GROTH. Plenty more. I low energied this segment on purpose while we were talking about the weather from yesterday, and not get too mad at Murph. I'll fire up. I will get there. The energy is coming. No Mason today. He's in LA. Louisiana? Nope. Los Angeles. Louisiana night? Who is that? That's LA night. This is anybody SummerSlam? Anybody? This is the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Mitch Nellis, Charlie Usen here with you. Oh, it is a really beautiful day out today, and I think all of Wisconsin needs that and deserves that as we clean up from yesterday. And again, those who are more affected than many of us hope that the cleanup process and the recombobulation process goes as well as possible. Again, my name is Mitch Nellis. Charlie Usen's here. Plenty to want to get to some of your texts and messages on the video stream, the Growth Law video stream. Before we get to some Packers news, Brenton Goff, or Brent on Goff, 8061 says, what do you guys think about CJ Abrams to the crew? I take him over Scooble with 2 more years of control for Abrams. Prayers for Menasha. I said that yesterday too, and I know I heard some other people talking about Abrams being at the top of the list over Mason Miller, over Scooble. I just don't think it's very realistic. I don't think the Brewers are going to make a move for an infielder knowing what's coming, knowing Madej, Pena, Fisher, whoever, everybody else who's coming with Turang, with Pratt, as Joey is playing at third base the way he's playing, with David Hamilton as kind of the wonder backup who starts when he needs to. I just don't think the Brewers would make a type of move like that for CJ Abrams, as much as I like the idea of it. I really like CJ Abrams. I think he's great. I don't know what the price would be to get him. He's very good. I don't know that I said he's great. I don't know that he's great. He's very good. He's borderline great. He would change the top of that lineup, no doubt about it. But I just don't think it's the type of move the Brewers would make, especially as they're looking at what they have and what's coming. I just don't see an infielder, especially a shortstop, at the top of their list with Madej. And I know a lot of people are like, well, Madej's going to be the third baseman next year, and Pratt's going to stay. Whoever stays where they are, whether it's Madej and Pratt on that left side of the infield, that's the future. I think, barring like the Nationals giving away Abrams or another team giving away a top level shortstop or third baseman, I just don't think that's the move this year.
Right. It would have to be like a 2-player type of deal from the Brewers for me to say yes. And it'd be 2 top prospects for sure. Mm-hmm. Maybe 3 if you were to be generous, but like it would have to include Cooper Pratt. You'd have to throw him in there because he's on a long-term contract that's going to be enticing to the Nationals if you're going to give a guy that has multiple years left on his deal. Right. And it's probably going to be Logan Henderson. If you did Cooper Pratt and Logan Henderson, I would maybe think about it. But also at the same time, to your point, there's already a log jam up at the
I'm not trading Pratt and Henderson for Abrams.
For him, yeah. That would be like
I would trade Pratt and a lesser pitcher.
I just don't know if you'd be able to do that. Like that's the problem. Is like that. I think that's the lowest package you could offer.
See, it's not just you're not just trading Cooper Pratt, but you're trading his deal as well. And I think his deal makes him very desirable by a team like the Nationals, that they would get to control.
So it would have to be another guy that's under long-term control to some degree. So you could maybe say like Garrett Mitchell too at that point, like one of those players. But again, those guys have done well enough here with the Brewers this season at the very least. Well,
trying to think Pratt and I don't know what like
Bishop Letson would probably be the next name. Gasser wouldn't get it done. I don't think.
I don't think so either. But
it'd have to be one of them.
That's why I don't think. That's why I don't think a deal is going to happen. Like I just don't think they'd make it. Eric from the Prairie says not upset about Sprout. He is who he is. It's getting tiring watching the Brewers' best hitters get nothing going. I mean, that was, again, like Sprout. We complained a little bit about Sprout, but we said overall, 6 innings, 3 runs. Like he did his job keeping the team in games. We've talked for the past year and a half on this show about how the Brewers' magic number is 4. Like when the Brewers score 4 runs, they're almost unbeatable. Had they scored 4 last night, they would have won the game. Like Sprout did his job. Do you every once in a while know your team's not going to score and you need to be a little bit better? Sure. Is Sprout that guy? Not really. Is Gasser that guy? Not really. Is Miz that guy? Sure. I even think Drowan, and I know he pitched very poorly on Friday when I saw him, but he also had he had a blooper that fell in front of Lara, and he just had like a lot of softly hit balls that found grass, as opposed to Yelich, who hit 3 bombs and had 1 home run and 2 loud flyouts. So yeah, I agree. I'm not upset about Sprout. I still think there's something there. I still, and I'm going to tell, I've been saying this for a month. I'm still excited for the playoffs when Sproat's in the bullpen, because I think Sproat is going to be able to like get all whatever's on his mind, whatever he's focused on, whatever he's locked in on, he can throw it all away and just pitch 1 or 2 innings of just going up and attacking people.
Do you think that traps him in the bullpen moving forward then, though, potentially, with how well the Brewers develop some other starting pitchers? Like, if I were him, that would maybe hurt my mentality, saying, oh, I'm just another Chad Patrick in this moment. Not that Chad Patrick's doing better, Aaron Ashby in this moment. Like, they found their roles, but it's not as a starter that I think they envision themselves coming up as. Could that kill confidence for a guy that's maybe not ready for that?
No, because remember, you only go with 4 starters in the playoffs, and that Ms. Henderson, and assuming Harrison's healthy, like that's your 3. So there's 1 more. And could it be Sproat? Maybe, but do they want to go another lefty, or what do they want to do? I think it's an opportunity to show off and like to see how good you can really be when you just let it loose. So whether it's, whether you put a chip on your shoulder or it's an audition for somebody else. Like maybe it's an audition for somebody else that's like, hey, I can do this out of the bullpen. I can do this as a starter too.
Yeah, you don't want Shane Drone to say, hey, I'll take that spot over you because you just don't want to be a reliever. Yeah.
It just didn't come together. Like, and listen, it's the end of July. This is not Sproat's year. Do we think Sprout still the entire organization still believes in him. Yeah. Right. But this is not his year, and that's okay. Brenton writes back, I agree, Mitch. It's just confusing. They were in on him this offseason, and there's still talk. Weird. I mean, I think they were in on him, at least having conversations. They weren't really in on him during the offseason.
And the Nationals were a very different team in the offseason. They weren't supposed to be fighting for a playoff spot.
Like
right
Pratt
now.
wasn't. And also, Nationals are not fighting for a playoff spot. Let's be real. I know that everybody in the National League thinks they're fighting for a playoff spot, but memo to the Marlins and the Nationals.
Statistically, they're still fighting. Okay. The Marlins have lost 13 straight. I have no faith in them. The Nationals have at least found ways to win games.
But I'm not buying the Nationals. But Cooper Pratt wasn't a major league player yet during the offseason either. And he has signed a deal and now is a major league player. That changes the organization.
Washington's only 1 game out of a wild card spot.
Really?
Yeah. The Pittsburgh Pirates and Arizona Diamondbacks are tied for the 3rd spot, and Washington's right behind them, 1 game out, a half game ahead of St. Louis.
And Pittsburgh and Arizona are playing each other right now.
Yes.
They should just fight. Let's see. 443 says, you must be having a really bad day. They still slept less, and it still sucks. Does not matter what plane you're on. And when it normally happens, Murph blames someone and just did not want to blame anyone today. Like he didn't want to blame another player, I assume 443 saying, I'm not having a really bad day. Like I'm having a really bad day because millionaires had a plane delay.
Right.
Like 443. Stop sucking at the teat of the stars. Like they
should be able to go do their job.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Their plane was delayed. Like on a luxury charter plane.
And again, I'm sure they got plenty of good sleep on the plane too.
Right.
They're fine.
Food and all that sort of stuff. So come on now. Somebody wrote in, Sprout doesn't have the luxury to just throw a 105-mile-an-hour fastball like Miz, and you responded.
I said, Sprout is an extremely talented young pitcher that has plenty of other ways to get guys out. We've seen that before. He can't keep being passive on every strikeout opportunity.
Yeah, he just has to throw strikes and get to it. Passon 912 lets us know Passon is linking the Brewers to Freddie again today. That's Michael in Appleton. Michael, hope you're doing okay in Appleton. And let's see, 4-4. Brewers moved Young, Woody, and Burns to the pen for the playoffs, and they turned out great in the future. Don't think it would kill Sprout's future confidence. And that's right. Like, I mean, in 18 and 19, we saw that. We saw them play with those starting roles and relief roles. Listen, I still think there's a world where Drowan and Sprout both throw 4, and whatever happens, your first 3 games in a playoff series, but they both come out throwing BBs, or they go 3-3-3 and with Gasser with the bullpen still behind them, and all of a sudden you got they're going through the order once. They don't have to get through the order twice or a third time. I think that's real. I think that's a real world we live in right now that could potentially really help the Brewers in the playoffs once they get to the divisional series and knock on Formica, get to the championship series as well. So 414-677-1250, keep those coming in. Micah Parsons was not put on the physically unable to perform list yesterday. He just needs to be put on it by practice tomorrow. I know all the Packers reporters who are up there were like, "Oh, it's just a paperwork thing and a procedural thing." None of that still like I don't understand any of that stuff. Like none of that stuff makes sense to me. Like, so why are Kraft and Musgrave and Banks and Hargrave and Haddon, why are they all on the list and Parsons is not? What is the non-football injury that Chris Brooks has? Like, I want to know. I'm just curious. Like, I don't need to know.
It's his illness too, so it could be.
Is it illness?
It says the NFI list is non-football injury or illness.
Yeah. Okay, so
it's a wider range. Yeah.
So he could have sniffles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stomach bug.
Yeah. He might have had some bad lettuce. Yeah, he had the bad lettuce. He's got explosive, you know what. So, we don't need to know, like that stuff we don't necessarily need to know. But I am curious. But I did want to talk about something that I'm not sure we need to know or not. Because an article just came out that Adam Schefter was part of the group that knew about the Kyle Shanahan car accident. And Schefter basically said, like, it happened during the quietest time. And we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, Charlie, how, like, the NFL wasn't just quiet this year. Mm-hmm. The NFL was silent in a way it's never been silent before. Like, I don't remember between training camps, OTAs and training camp, like it being this quiet, like all 32 teams, nothing happening.
Well, and that's with relatively like active free agency period too. Like, there was enough to talk about throughout that point, but it also didn't feel like you were getting the same kind of blockbuster moves until Myles Garrett gets traded, and that's the huge one that everybody's looking at. But outside of that, it was a bunch of good to average players going to do new situations. It wasn't worth talking about the free agency like it has been in the past. I think that shuts it down a little bit. And then, you get all this stuff where it's these huge stories that are coming out like weeks later every single time. And people just are already past it by that point.
So Adam Schefter said, right, I agree with you, Charlie. He said, it's the quietest time of the NFL year. The 49ers did a great job at keeping things quiet. There were other people that knew. Sean McVay talked about the fact that he had a press conference and the 49ers did some interviews with other media outlets where other people knew. It came up in those interviews. It's a sensitive situation. It's not like a transaction or a signing where there's a signing. There are certain things that are a little bit sensitive. People are a little bit private about certain things and different stories move at different rhythms and paces. That was probably the quietest week in the NFL calendar. And so I will ask you, Packers fan, are you comfortable with the Josh Jacobs situation, with what we know or don't know about Josh Jacobs? Matt Schneidman reporting that the Brown County DA's office said the investigation is still open and that there will be an update provided once a resolution is reached. I don't believe they talked at all about timing or when that resolution may get to. Again, we could conjecture everything that's happening. We could conjecture they have more information and they're just making sure it's ironclad. We could conjecture that they're working on an NDA and a deal that involves a cash settlement and takes it out of the legal procedures. We could conjecture that they have done all the investigating and they think that there's nothing there, but they don't know. And they want to make sure that nothing's there before they announce that nothing's there. So we don't know. We don't know the situation there. AJ Wheeler 4249 on YouTube says, keeping quiet, aka suppressing information from the public, it's gross. I'm really torn on this. I don't know that it's gross. Like Kyle Shanahan is a public figure, but it's not like if he got in a car accident, like that's relevant to his job. Like if it's something relevant to your job, then to me, that's what's public. And so if it meant that he missed games or missed training camp, like that to me makes sense. If Josh Jacobs is going to miss games for the Packers, then I, as a Packers fan, am like, I want to know what's going to happen there. I'm sure, I hate to say the gambling world, but Vegas wants to know. There are odds out on the Packers over under for victories. And not that Josh Jacobs really sways that number, but he does a little bit probably. I mean, he's been an all pro running back in his career. He's been a Pro Bowl running back in his career. Did not have a great season last year, but that could sway things from a Vegas standpoint. And so I again, I don't know. Like, if there are situations like this, if a political figure gets into trouble, I think we as the public have a right to know those things more about their personal life than a what we call a public figure, but someone who works for an NFL team that's still a private entity that they work for. And yes, it's way more public than, like, you don't know the salaries of everybody who works at the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network or works at KISS or Star or Big Country or all the different radio stations around the country. We know what everybody makes in the NFL. And so that makes them more public. We see them on TV at least once a week, if not multiple times on their press conferences and all those sorts of things. But I don't know that. I don't know that information has to go public if there's no police report or if there's no but if there's a police report, then like Tony Romo gets pulled over for an OWI and we know immediately. Like, we knew immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Did we need to know immediately? I don't know if we needed to know immediately. But it was of public interest. I will say that. I don't know if it's a public need, but it was a public interest, Charlie.
I think so. And I think that the way that we go about a lot of this stuff, yes, with a political figure, I think that might be a little bit different because they're representing you as the people. I think these athletes, they're not exactly representing you, but I also think if you're supporting a team, you want to know what you're supporting. And I think knowing what the situation is, at least the facts of these situations, maybe not all the gory details in between and everything, but just the facts of the situation is important for the fan base to make a decision on how to fan.
Michelle is in Wausau. Michelle, you're up on the Mason Crosby Show with Thunder and Charlie. What do you got for us, Michelle?
Well, hello, Thunder and Charlie. You caught my attention. I was just driving here. I see both sides of this.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I should open a business. What do you think of this? Uber for athletes. Why on earth are they still driving around
Amen.
when they shouldn't be
Amen.
after drinking? Hello.
Amen.
That's a basic. That one killed me when Charlie Romo got picked up. What are you thinking? Time and time again. But with Josh Jacobs, I was all on the side of, look, not our business if he's not getting charged. However, I know people that live in Green Bay, even though I do not, and they've heard differently. And when you hear what was on those tapes, I say to myself, okay, is the Old Boys Network still working real good in Green Bay? Would this have, in a larger market, would he not be playing right now? Are
That's a good question.
Going, okay, this makes money for Green Bay, and Green Bay needs to look good, so let's just keep this quiet. That's the part that bothers me.
Yeah, Michelle, you're not wrong. We're up against a break, so we got to go. But I appreciate you bringing that up because those are things that we're all thinking about, right? We're all thinking about what is the situation here, and until we know, we don't know. But again, like, we hear there are rumors, there's innuendo. I get it. Paul Wagner at 1:00. Plenty more to get to. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Hey, it's Mitch Nellis here. Charlie Uzin, Paul Wagner coming up at 1 o'clock. So we got a little time to do some reading. Let's find out if people like me or not. They don't. Michael in Appleton says they could trade for Abrams this year, flip him next summer when Madej is ready and not be pressured to rush him. I don't hate that. I mean, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's easier said than done.
It just feels like convoluted almost.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
You might as well just start moving guys. Like Bryce Train, you're going to have to do that with potentially if things stay the way it does.
No, that's a good point.
So, like, why do it with multiple guys?
Yep. JB in the 920, the guy I work with works 4 days a week. Not he takes off 1 day a week. I think he got that confused. 414 says he takes me to task. A 5-hour delay plus the time change has an effect on your body and mind. Kuhn, who played in the NFL, also said absolutely it affects you. How about you take a trip, your car breaks down, and your schedule plans are affected, and I'll bet you mentally it affects you when you get to your destination. I don't disagree with any of that. I just like...
They're not driving a car that's breaking down. They're not making $20 an hour. They're like, yes, it'll affect you, but get over it, is my point.
That's kind of where I stand on it, too. So I guess, yes, it affects you, but come on. That's all. Paul Wagner coming up. Oh, man. How can it be so messy yesterday and so nice today? Just
Wisconsin. It's a crazy world, man.
Yeah, not just other places, too, but true. Wisconsin for sure. It's the Mason Crosby Show.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
This is hour number 2 of the Mason Crosby Show. What's up? High noon in Denver, Colorado. It's the easiest one. But my buddy Steven, who I graduated high school with, and he and his wife Ty live in Denver now. They're in town right now. They came over for dinner last night.
Nice.
So I told them I'd give them the shout out. So,
there you go.
Steven and Ty, what's up? Their wonderful daughters, Lila and Cora. They weren't at dinner. It was adults only for dinner. But
That's fair.
yeah. You gotta
have adults only.
You gotta have an adult only. That's exactly right. This is the Mason Crosby Show. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And as you all know, whenever we're talking baseball coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. Plenty to talk to this gentleman about. Joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, our good friend, the flamethrower, Paul Wagner. What's up, Wags?
Boys, it's good to be back. Sorry about yesterday. I got kind of hung up with the Nike camp that we do out at the ballpark.
I was going to say you were busy yesterday. There's no you stuff your stories in a sack. You do not need to apologize for that.
Yeah, we had the youngsters. We had the young Brewers. We had young up and coming 12-year-olds that are going to be Milwaukee Brewers at some point down the line.
Nice. Well, that is very fun, I'm sure. And a good time was had by all. Thanks so much for jumping on. I don't know if you were watching live. I don't know if you got alerted to it. I don't know what your Sunday looked like. But one strikeout, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 9, 11 out of 12. I was at the Goodwill in Pewaukee. And my daughter is at a camp in Madison right now, like a scholars, like through UW-Madison. And she called me. She's like, "Dad, are you watching? This is unbelievable." I mean, he's unbelievable, Wax. That's all you can say about the Miz at this point, right?
It really is, and it's so incredible. It's so it's just weird. It's like almost unbelievable to an extent. But as we look back at what we used to talk about at the beginning of the year, I still remember the conversations we had, even here on the show. Is he a unicorn? People weren't sure. Is he a one of one? I think those questions have been answered. It's just like, what else can he really do? And then you'd say, probably nothing. And then he goes out and immaculate inning is next, or he strikes out the first 12 batters he faced in a game, or something is going to just continue to go. A power arm like that nobody has seen. You can't prepare for it. You can't practice for it. There's just nothing to do. You go up there and, as we call it, you try to ambush. A lot of hitters, obviously, you can't at the big league level. You can't cover both sides of the plate. You can't cover off speed and hard. You can't cover up and down. You have to give something to get something. And big league hitters right now are giving everything. They are just going up there saying, okay, let's try to look at some of his track record. Let me look at some of the data. Every second pitch or every first pitch, his first pitch fastball usage is 72%. I'm going to hope that I get the heater, because as soon as he starts to move, I'm swinging.
I get that. And with how much of a unicorn Jacob Mizorowski is, it's also kind of surprising hearing fans be so ready for him to get injured all the time. And he hasn't gotten injured up to that point. At what point do fans, in your mind, start dropping that kind of mentality and just take the time to witness how great Jacob Mizorowski is? And do you feel like at any point here that you're just waiting for that to happen too?
I mean, it's a fair question, but a fair question like that is also, you have to sit back and, what do they say, smell the roses. You have to appreciate what we're seeing right now, because nobody has ever seen it before. And again, we're so lucky here in the state of Wisconsin, and I bring it up so many different times. We are very fortunate to the Milwaukee Brewers make the playoffs all the time. We have a guy like Jacob Mizorowski. We have a guy like Aaron Rodgers. We had Brett Favre. We have Jordan Love. We've had 3 quarterbacks. We've had Giannis. We've had Marquette in Wisconsin Final Fours with the Badgers. We are so lucky here as far as sports go. We've had women's national championship hockey teams. We have a lot. We have a lot to enjoy. So, yeah, we're going to be worried about the injury because we're just thinking that that's our luck. But sit back and enjoy this, because what we're seeing right now obviously won't happen and won't last forever. The Pittsburgh Pirates are going through that with Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens has actually come down to earth. We know it's going to happen with him. So let's enjoy it right now and avoid the injury talk. Let's just enjoy what's happening.
Paul Wagner joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. Certainly enjoying what we're seeing from Miz, and we'll get back to him in a little bit. A little bit of a debate on the show today. Brewers get shut out last night in San Francisco, and Murph kind of talked a little bit after, not using it as an excuse, but talking about how they were stuck on the tarmac for 4 or 5 hours after the game on Sunday. They got into San Francisco late. And I kind of said, like, well, if you're going to bring it up, Murph, you kind of are using it as an excuse. And like, as much as we think that our millionaire athletes are coddled to an extent of chartered planes and chartered meals, and they have their phone and their laptop and movie screens on the plane, and then I have people all over the text club like saying, Thunder, you're an idiot. Like if you're affected by a delayed plane and changing time zones, like that's going to affect anybody's mental focus. Is there somewhere in the middle that we are? Like, what do you think about the concept of like, oh, the Brewers were lethargic last night because they were delayed on a plane Sunday evening from Milwaukee to San Francisco, and then so their sleep was off, their whole and we know how these guys are creatures of routine. Like, but I'm like, suck it up. You're a professional baseball player who makes millions of dollars. Like, make an adjustment.
I totally, believe it or not, I'm on your side. It is really what we do. We do it all the time. There's delays. There's show and goes. A show and go is where if we are late coming in or you're late going out, if you're going West Coast, going East Coast to West Coast isn't that big of a deal. So that's kind of stretching a little bit. But when you go West Coast to East Coast, you do a show and go. You show up and you play. There's no batting practice. Hitting is in the cage. Stretching is optional, or there's no team stretch. It's an optional. There's things that we do as baseball players because we adjust. What are you going to say if you sat on the tarmac for 3 hours, or you got into San Francisco on time, but there was a 3-hour rain delay? I mean, we all have to deal with things like that. So I don't necessarily think he was using it as an excuse. I think he was just mentioning it because the last thing I think Pat Murphy would do is make an excuse,
right? But
for
then
lackadaisical
why
play.
Mention it? Like I to me, it's like when you mention it, even if especially if you're saying it's not an excuse, but like,
yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like I'm a little torn. Like I'd almost rather not know about it.
True. I mean, very valid point. Very, very valid point. But you can take a look at it either way. I don't think there's either way to look at it, but I look at it more like, hey, life in general is about adjustments. We all wish we could be multimillionaire baseball players on a strict schedule that work piece by piece by piece. Life does not work that way. So I played the game. I've seen it. I've seen delays all over the place.
Sure.
Every part of this story I've experienced except being the multi-millionaire player.
Right. All right. So I asked you this 2 weeks ago. I asked you this last week. Maybe I even asked you 3 weeks ago. I don't even know. What is the move that you would like to see the Brewers make by the trade deadline? And I believe the trade deadline this year is Monday the 3rd because the 1st is on a Saturday. So I think it's Monday the 3rd if I'm not mistaken. What is the position? What is the move you would like to see the Brewers make?
So I definitely would like them to make a bullpen arm. But let me say this. Let me preface this. Nobody thinks about this. The Milwaukee Brewers win, I believe there's, what are they, 69-39 or I think they just lost their 40th game. You got to think about this. When you win last night,
66 and 40. 66 and 40.
66 and 40.
Yep.
Every time you win, you have to pitch 9 innings. When you lose, like you did yesterday, on the road, especially, meaning because not at home, but when you're losing and you lose on the road, you only have 8 innings of pitching. So you save 1 inning out of your bullpen. Winning 66 games means that 66 times, I'm not sure how it breaks up on the road and everything, but regardless, every time you win, you have to pitch 9 innings.
Right.
That's even, let's just say, and someone's going to say, well, what do you want them to be? 45 losses and 60, what'd you say, 67, 62 and 45? 5 innings is a lot. When this bullpen, this pitching staff is kind of put together with 5-inning starters. We're protecting guys because we've never seen it before with outstanding stuff like Mizorowski. Yep. We're seeing it with Kyle Harrison, with Sproat. Sproat actually got extended a little bit, but all these guys, Gasser coming off of Tommy John. This rotation is set up for a bullpen-dominated team. And when you get 5 innings out of your pitching, your starting staff, those 4 innings, 3 innings on a loss, 4 innings on a win, have to be accounted for. And you know what? I want to see bullpen help. I think nothing against Trevor McGill, nothing against McGill, nothing against Uribe, nothing against the guys, except that they are working. They're working at a hard pace, pace that sometimes isn't seen. I want a bullpen arm. If not, I want 2 bullpen arms.
So bullpen arms. All right. So you want Mason Miller?
Yes.
Yes. You're willing to say, like, and what are you willing to give up for Mason Miller?
Now I believe he has this year, next year. So he's got a 27-year contract and possibly 28 or 28 may be an option.
He has 2 years of arbitration left.
Yeah. So it's this year and then 2 more years of arbitration.
So we got 2 years of team control.
Yep.
3
that's
years.
Valuable.
3 years?
Yep.
3 years.
So through 2029.
Of arbitration? No. Can't be arbitration. He's a free agent, right?
He's got arbitration in 2027, 2028, and 2029. He's a free agent in 2030.
Arbitration? No, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You only get 3 years of arbitration. And he's been in San Diego. So what is he making right now? Is he making minimum?
They avoided arbitration this past year for $4 million.
So now it's really stupid. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Yeah. So if I got 3 years of team arbitration, not team control, a pseudo team control, I got to give up a lot. I don't know where you want to start. I don't know what prospects you want to think about. I know some of you love Andrew, some of you love Made, some like Pena and Ara and Pratt's hitting the ball. I don't know what you do, but you have to give up something to get something, and Mason Miller would be my target.
All right. I'm not opposed to that. I mean, Mason Miller would make this pitching staff top to bottom exponentially better. You know, we talk about this. I feel like we talk about this every year, whether they're getting a closer or not. Like, if you get a Mason Miller, all of a sudden Trevor McGill's your 8th inning guy, and he is shut down. And then Uribe's your 7th inning guy. And then everybody else's job, no one else has to be the 7th inning guy. Everybody else just gets to go out and throw. What does it mean to a bullpen? You've been in bullpens, Wags.
Yeah.
What does it mean to a bullpen when you know, and Uribe and McGill have been shut down the past 2 months? I mean, they both had rocky Aprils, but they've been very good since then. If they move into 7th and 8th and you got a closer, what does that mean for everybody else and the ability to kind of like just take a deep breath and just go out and throw?
Especially when you bring in a quality arm like that.
Yeah.
You know, like a Mariano, you bring in somebody with like respect. He's got it. He's got it. Everybody in this league respects him and knows what he's capable of doing. We saw what happened when the Milwaukee Brewers a few years ago traded Josh Hader, and we all thought, okay, Hader can go because we can move Devin Williams from the 8 to the 9 and this to the that. And if you recall, everybody was comfortable, felt good going into playoffs with a 3-game lead in the Central Division at that time of the trade. And Devin Williams, even though he was promoted to the closer role, was in tears or was in shock when it happened.
Both.
So it means a lot. Taking the step back for that type of person is great. If you would say to me, hey, the Milwaukee Brewers, Craig Kimbrell just re-signed again, and we think he's found it, and he's going to be our closer, and now you guys all have to take a step back, that wouldn't fly. But a guy like this, I think this bullpen, this pitching staff would open up arms and be excited as hell.
With this roster, as you bring up how it affects the locker room when one of these guys gets moved on from, especially in the middle of the season, a lot of teams right now, I think, have this idea that they can either compete or sell at the trade deadline here. And because of that, a lot of major league level guys are going to be available from multiple different teams. If you're the Milwaukee Brewers, looking at the impact that it's had on the locker room in the past when you've traded away major league level guys, what guys are actually then available to be traded from the Brewers, and will the front office see that the impact it's had on the team in the past raise the value of some of those major league level guys?
Well, that's exactly what they're trying to find out. They do not want to rock the boat. You don't want to screw with chemistry.
Yep.
We may look at an individual and say, this guy's hitting this, his OPS is on whatever isn't, but he may have a direct effect on the clubhouse itself. So it's a very, very tricky thing. The general manager, Matt Arnold, isn't just sitting there with Pat Murphy and everybody else around the front office, and they're just looking strictly at numbers. They're looking how it can affect the clubhouse. What effect? How long has he been there? What can he do? What does he bring? Also, as long as they're available, obviously, with the Milwaukee Brewer organization after a certain day, we can be on a track. Rosters are 26, and I believe they have a 2-man. They'll still be part of the team. So let's just say you bring in a Mason Miller and you move somebody, you option them or you send them to Nashville on the paper, but they're really there. I don't know exactly how this all works now, but they would still be part of the team, still be part of the locker room, be part of that. I think those are the things you're worrying about or that you're looking for. But again, to get a Mason Miller, you are going to have to remove pieces. This isn't just adding a salary or adding a player. You are going to remove pieces. And in my mind, I always remove pieces, unfortunately, that aren't going to affect the big league club. It may be the loss of a prospect. I don't want to be like the San Diego Padres and the Washington Nationals where the Juan Soto deal goes, and now you have Wood and Abrams that are studs over with the Nationals right now. And Juan Soto is away from San Diego, and now Juan Soto is with the Mets, or however that trade went. Again, it's a crap shoot with prospects, but the prospects that I move or that I push as pawns in this trade have to be ones that are not going to affect my big league roster right now, currently.
Paul Wagner joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show, part of the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. So you're not trading a Sal Frelick or a Garrett Mitchell as part of the deal?
That's for somebody else to determine what's going on in there, what it is. Off the surface, and the way I speak, I would say no. I would say no. I would find it. But if it comes down to that, I think the acquisition of that type of a player, the clubhouse would understand what is happening. And I think that individual that gets traded would understand the situation too. Plus it maybe free up some more time for them, maybe give them a rotational route or something that makes them feel better too. But you're not going after, again, I hate saying names because they're big league players, but an average big leaguer. You're going after a game changer, a World Series winner. You add a Mason Miller to this bullpen, I guarantee you the LA Dodgers are going to have a counteroffer. They've got to figure out something to do because adding him to this Milwaukee Brewer team makes everybody, including Vegas and the Potawatomi Sportsbook, say the Milwaukee Brewers now just have an even better chance of winning the World Series.
Do you think on July 28th, the Brewers are better set up to beat the Dodgers in the playoffs than they were last year?
Right now. We're limiting Mizorowski. Harrison's on the DL or the IL.
Right. I still call it the DL too. Like old guys like us, we got to stick together. It's the DL.
Yeah. They have Snell, Glass now coming off. They're throwing. The the World Series isn't played, so a lot of rosters, a lot of manipulation is being done right now. But right now, I think we can compete. I'm going to say come playoff time right now, if the Brewers stand status quo, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a good battle. If the Milwaukee Brewers make a push and they make a piece and they acquire a piece, I don't care what it is, maybe a starting pitcher of elite status or an elite status reliever, I think the Milwaukee Brewers, with this team adding that one piece moved in, can beat the LA Dodgers, yes, and get to the World Series.
715 sends in a text in our talking text line. I would love for them to get Mason Miller just so they could say it's Miller time whenever he comes in to close. How cool would that be?
Yep. Yes.
That's what it's all about. All right. So Wags, what are you up to? What do you, I know you had the Nike camp yesterday and today with all the little kids running around. What else is coming up on your radar?
Yep. Yeah, we got 3 more. We got home games coming in. The Canaries from Sioux Falls are coming in for a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You throw out the records when the Canaries come in town.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I love, and I've been doing this for a while, but I love independent ball for this purpose. It is. And then we have the Sioux City. Then we go out to Sioux City. And actually, this weekend we pack it up and we go down to Gary, Indiana. We play the Gary Railroaders, the South Shore Railroaders, nice. And we stay in Portage, Indiana. We stay in a nice area. There's some good stuff over there, and then we just drive about 20-25 minutes to the ballpark. But no, it's exciting. It's an exciting time. The Milkmen are still ahead of us for some odd reason.
What?
We took 2 out of 3
How's
from
that
them.
Possible?
I know. We took 2 out of 3 from them over the weekend, or last time. And then they swept somebody, and then we swept the Chicago Dogs this weekend, but we didn't gain any territory. So I think we're about a game behind them. But again, it's always great, especially in this area. We talk about Wisconsin. I always do. Yep. The Milwaukee Milkmen and the Lake Country Dachshunds, again, another different type of entertainment for the fans in southeastern Wisconsin. And it's just so much fun. It's so good. It's a great little rivalry. There's laughing and there's grabbing. We got a lot of Wisconsin kids on our team, and we got a lot of Wisconsin kids on the Milkmen. A couple Greendale kids, a Franklin kid, a kid that I worked with now, Eli, a guy named Eli Hoyt. He is now pitching for the Milkmen, but I worked with him for many years, and it's just great baseball, especially in the state of Wisconsin, and seeing baseball players from our state getting the opportunity to play.
A question about the Chicago Dogs. The Dogs, that's the stadium right by O'Hare, right?
Yep, Impact Stadium right there.
Is that I've always wanted to go to a game there. Is there anything cool about that venue? Is it just like, oh, I can just see it off the expressway, so it looks kind of neat? I know, like, during Christmas time, they put all sorts of, like, huge light sculptures on the field.
Their hot dogs are delicious there, as they should be if your team's going to be
assume it's a Chicago dog.
But they got really good hot dogs.
Going to Dachshund games is great. Going to Milkman. I've been to Chinooks. I've been to Kingfish, in the Wood Bat League.
Yeah.
But, like, I haven't been to a Chicago Dogs game. Is there anything special about, like, should I come down to a Dachshunds game and like and go to an away game where I can like cheer for you and just be that obnoxious guy from Wisconsin cheering for you at a Dogs game?
You are more than welcome to come anytime. I will give you tickets. But yes, the left field there is sort of like an a la Fenway Park. It's a little bit shorter, but it's much taller. It's like a green monster. No, it's a great little ballpark. Obviously, the great view. There's planes going over all the time, and it's a nice little stadium. You got the steakhouse across the street, the Brazilian steakhouse. You got Rivers Casino. So we always, we go there and just have that guy. My button's always on green. The guy's bringing me fillets and lamb chops, and he says, "Are you done, sir?" And I go, "Excuse me, my button still says go."
I didn't turn over. I didn't turn it over to the red side. It's still green. You still bring the meats.
He goes, and your name is? I go, Wagner. He goes, okay, Mr. Wagner, you look like a lamb chop.
Oh, let's go.
Done.
I love a Brazilian steakhouse. I'm with you, Wags. That is awesome. Well, next time you're down at a Chicago game, I might have to grab dinner with you. And
the casino. Here's one for you too.
Yeah.
If you've been to that Rivers Casino, there's the Hugo Steakhouses in there. And you go in there after hours. There's a great bartender named Benny. He's a good bartender. He takes care of you. And you order this carrot cake. Okay. And guys, I'm not joking. This carrot cake is probably the size. It's quartered. So there's
Okay.
4 pieces in this, and it's the size of a football standing on its point.
That's unbelievable.
It's unreal. Like, you've got more cream cheese and carrot in you. It's just, you're down. You're down for the count for like 2 days.
Challenge accepted, my friend. I love it. Well, Paul, thank you so much for jumping on, and we will talk to you soon, and really appreciate you jumping on today.
Absolutely. Talk soon. Have a good one, boys.
You as well. That's Paul Wagner, our pitching guru and Brewers insider, joins us every Tuesday at 1:00 right here on the Mason Crosby Show. He joins us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. When we come back, plenty still to get to. I've got some news and notes from Packers training camp as we get ready, officially opening tomorrow. Today, lots of weigh-ins, lots of injury updates, lots of guys are just hugging each other and glad to see each other. Tomorrow, not as much. But today,
it's all
still
fun and games.
It's exactly.
Luke Fickell also just finished talking at Big Ten Media Days.
Oh, did he?
If you want to talk about a little bit what he was
all
talking
right. I know
about,
Sparky's going to get into that, so I don't want to what's that phrase? I can't remember. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Steal his thunder. Oh, see what I did there? But we could definitely get into that as well. Man, I used to go to that every year. I bet for at least 10 years straight, I went to Big Ten Media Days.
It seems like fun. Like, compared to other media days for other sports, even like that one just feels like it's very chill.
It was downtown Chicago.
I think so.
Still,
yeah. And they all the coaches just sit with their local beat reporters.
Table.
Yeah, it seems cool. Seems chill.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Well, again, our thanks to Paul Wagner for jumping on. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. He's Charlie Usen, a.k.a. The Gentle Giant. We are the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Our thanks to Paul Wagner for jumping on. Charlie, what was that you were telling me right as we were coming back? Draymond Green? Oh, hold on.
Shams Charania
I've heard
of ESPN
Loser.
says that Draymond Green is returning back to the Golden State Warriors after spending the entire offseason as a free agent on a $27.7 million deal for 1 year.
27.7. I wonder what it would have been if they had signed LeBron for 2 years and $8 million. It would have been 23.7?
Probably. Yeah, probably just the difference. Or maybe they weren't going to bring him back.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they were going to bring him back. But
even if they brought in LeBron? Like
I think they had to sign LeBron first.
I just feel like they would use LeBron in a similar role that they would Draymond Green. Have Draymond come off the bench and then Draymond would get mad about it. Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I can see that. Who knows? It's not going to happen now. LeBron also not a member of the Miami Heat.
Nope.
So I'm intrigued for the NBA season, but I'm still kind of bummed he signed with Philly.
Yeah. Is it just boring? Is that why? Would you rather have a better storyline to it?
Like, I think even signing in New York wasn't even a rumor, is a better storyline.
Yeah, and they're the defending champs. Like, that kind of makes sense. I don't know. Like, Philadelphia has done enough this offseason where I think they are legitimate NBA title contenders for sure.
Philly is?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think adding LeBron James into that room, I think that's a team where he's going to have a big enough role because their depth just isn't there that I think he still feels like he'll be relevant there. I think in some of these other teams that he was looking at, even if he does match the age of some of these other teams a little better, like the Warriors or staying with the Lakers or going to the Miami Heat, I think his role greatly diminishes in either of those teams because you have more veteran players that maybe look to you more as a peer at this point than a legend. Whereas maybe if you go to a team with some younger players that have never played with you before, haven't been around you before, maybe that helps keep your legend status and keeps your role more defined with that team.
Right. Yeah. I think there's definitely an element of that going on. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch. Sooner than that though. And I know you mentioned this before we went to break. Big Ten Media Day. Was it last year or 2 years ago when when Deshaun Foster when he was just totally?
I think that was 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I still remember that, and it's like
happy to be here. All right, what now?
Okay, we're good. Thanks. He should have just walked away.
Yeah,
like he should.
If you weren't prepared for it, man, like I don't know, like you can just keep saying how excited you are. At least, like he didn't even do that. He said, "I'm excited to be here." All right, now what? Just stood up there.
What am I doing here? What am I supposed to
at least pretend to be happy? Like that's your main job at this thing is be excited about your team. I would think Lou Fickell does that every year. He does a pretty good job at least pretending to be excited about his teams whenever he goes up there and talks.
Exactly. Something I'm going to be talking about. Put this on our radar for tomorrow. I think we definitely have to get into the Stanford football players who are basically unionizing. That's definitely a Mason Crosby story. We got to get Mason all over that one. So I'm excited for that to happen. But right now, and just quick news and note, Braden Shoemake does clear waivers, and he does accept his assignment to AAA Nashville. So he will stay in the Brewers organization. The Packers training camp starts tomorrow. And I thought it was interesting that the Packers, of course, send out a press release. Packers training camp begins Wednesday, the 29th. Kids are invited to join the team at practice, enjoy a variety of activities to celebrate the return of football. Ahead of the first practice, Dream Drive, kids are invited to take part in the storied bike tradition by bringing their bikes to each open practice day and offering Packers players a ride from Lambeau Field to Ray Nitschke Field. All practice attendees are asked to adhere to the team's policy prohibiting capturing video and still photos of practice from the stands during designated periods of practice. All right. So is there anything, is the kids and the bikes, is that still like cute and fun and like there's nothing wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, it's fine.
Yeah, I think somebody always looks forward to hearing that's going to happen each year because it feels like one of those things that would get cut if they were to start cutting things, want to be more secretive. But it feels like the Packers will always do that as a tradition. It's always exciting whenever you hear that.
I agree. I like it. Practice the video and how I don't know the answer to this. So for those of you who've been to training camp, More than I have. I've been there a few times, but I've actually never sat in the stands during training camp. How do they police if you're taking pictures or video during non-photography sessions? And like I could be holding up my phone and I could tell them, oh, I'm taking a selfie of myself. And meanwhile, I'm taking a picture or a video or something like that. And it's like, with so many cameras and so many things that we have around us these days, like, I just think that's really hard to police.
Maybe just like the training camp practices aren't busy enough fan wise so that you can have a decent security team sitting in the stands kind of watching with them. And then the other thing might be is, yes, they say no video, no photography during these certain periods, but at the same time, it's if they catch you doing it. So they're not going to be out there constantly watching every single person if they're on their phones.
It kind of says guest services staff will be holding signs that indicate whether photography and video are permitted and will remind fans to put their phones, cameras, and other recording devices away.
It's like having a phone out in a movie theater. I think, like, again, if you get caught, if you're going to start posting the videos and stuff,
posting is the issue, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. There's face painting. There's magicians. There's balloon artists. Sign making station. There's a nonprofit of the day to connect nonprofits and community members. I did email back and ask, like, are they doing anything for victims of the storms? I haven't heard back. I mean, I just wrote like half an hour ago. I do have to assume that is going to be a big part of this first week. That even if they had and part of me doesn't want to assume that because the Packers Foundation has its partners, right? And that's kind of that's how corporate America works, right? Is that they have their corporate partners already. I'd like to think that there's some flexibility, some reading the room, being able to make a move that, like, oh, let's pivot on Wednesday and let's get that money to some shelters in Neenah and Menasha and Appleton. Let's get some money to some organizations that are feeding people who 2 days ago weren't homeless and today are homeless. And figuring that out. I'd like to think that would be part of it.
Right. Or that you would take a Friday practice where you're potentially doing a walkthrough or something of that nature. And you say, you know what, instead of doing the walkthrough today, we're going to go walk around downtown Menasha and help people clean up. We're going to go and walk around and give out at food banks and stuff and help out that way and make it a team bonding experience. And I know this is an NFL team. This we did this at my college. This is one thing we did during training camp is go out and do a community service project as a team instead of practice one day.
And I know a couple of years ago, there were tornadoes in Tuscaloosa. And I know that the Alabama football team did that, like got into the community. And,
like if
and I don't know how much of that is a photo opportunity versus how much help they're actually, but I'd like to think that at least some of them are taking it seriously. And at least some of them like are throwing garbage away or cleaning up a roadway or somebody's yard or whatever that might be.
I think something like that, even if it is a photo opportunity, I still think that's something that you're still getting a benefit out of. Most of these guys are going to still be throwing stuff away while taking these pictures, and they're going to be helping for at least a little bit. And that's better than nothing.
414-677-1250. Your thoughts on training camp. Have you been to training camp? Are you excited for training camp? Are you going? Is it your family tradition that you go every year? Do you tailgate? Do you, what are the concessions at training camp? I always got to talk about food. We all know that. Packers alumni scheduled to greet fans at the fan walkway. Geronimo Allison will be there tomorrow. You remember Geronimo?
I do remember Geronimo Allison.
I actually did a one-on-one.
If he didn't have such a cool name, I don't know if I'd remember him, but I remember
that could be. He was doing something at a Robert Hack Diamonds once, and so I got to do like a private interview. Like I just like me and him, just like for 10 minutes. Just
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I think he played. Oh no, Revell Martin played guitar, not Geronimo. Tremont Williams and Charlie Pepra on July 30th, so they'll be there on Thursday. George Kuntz next Monday, August 3rd. Kuntz always does stuff. Kuntz is great, but it's like he's always smiling and happy. But it's like, hasn't everybody met George Kuntz like 47 times?
Yeah, but if he's going to be smiling and happy to be there, let him be there, man. Right. Yeah.
And Jarrett Bush on August 18th, who Jarrett Bush is he was terrible, and then he was really good, and now he's like a member kind of the media, and he's around doing stuff. It's like Jarrett Bush could have left Wisconsin and nobody would have heard of him ever again. It's like instead he's decided to stay and be part of the community.
Wisconsin's nice. It's a nice community to be a part of. I love being here. I went to school in Illinois and decided I wanted to come right back to Wisconsin. So yeah.
Oh God, you did. Throwback Thursday is set for this Thursday, July 30th. Fans are asked to wear their throwback gear and their vintage favorites. Touch a Truck Monday, August 10th, construction vehicles and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of fun stuff. Family night is going to be Friday, August 7th at Lambeau. There are remaining tickets. They're limited, but they can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. The joint training camp practice is with Arizona, the Cardinals, on August 26th before the Cardinals at Lambeau on the 28th. So that should be fun. And I'm just waiting to see, again, I'm curious to see if they do something with the victims of the storms from yesterday. And so if there's an opportunity for partnership or community involvement there. We will wrap things up right here when we come back. Tim Dillard at 220 today?
Tim Dillard is at 220 today.
Yeah, I said it yesterday. I meant today,
yes.
Everyone. I recorded yesterday's show for today, so I was recording.
Oh, right,
I'm AI. In case anybody was wondering, I'm AI, and AI
you
makes
might be
mistakes
the
sometimes.
Least AI person I've ever met.
Wow, that's because I'm real.
You're real,
right?
And you're unpredictable.
AI, you know what AI doesn't do?
What's that?
AI doesn't give hugs.
No, they don't.
Nope.
Sparky's AI then.
Sparky could be AI. Charlie, what's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo?
The Z? I don't know.
One's really heavy. One's a little lighter. This is the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Mitch Thunder Nellis, Charlie Hughes in here with you, taking you up till 2 o'clock where Sparky takes over. Thursday, Sparky and I are going to be at the Racine County Fair. That's going to be a blast. I'll be there noon to 2. He'll be there 2 to 5 doing our shows. And Charlie will be shocked to hear that I'm planning on eating something that's not good for me.
Oh, of course.
Are you shocked?
Shocker. No, I'm not shocked.
I wonder what, and if anybody knows.
Are you feeling like out of your comfort zone?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to know
crazy.
what the specialty at the Racine County Fair is. If anybody knows, what is there a special a deep fried Oreo wrapped in pickle, which sounds disgusting, but I would eat it.
I mean, you got to try it.
I got to try it.
Crazy.
Dill pickle pizza is always great, but it's something fried. I love chicken. I don't know, whatever it is. Real quick shout out. I am not a car clean person. I don't really pay attention to the cleanliness of my car. But I got to give a shout out to my buddy over at Detailed Rides LLC. Detailed Rides. He's on Facebook. He's on Google. He cleaned my car like toothbrush clean, unbelievable. I got 2 teenage girls, right. and they don't care at all about my car.
And you are a little all over the place sometimes. It's a little dirty from that.
Exactly. He's based in Waukesha, and he'll go all over the Waukesha area. And he's got discounts for veterans and police and firefighters and active duty. So Detailed Rides LLC, awesome work. Super happy. It's amazing what walking into a clean car can do. It feels tremendous. So shout out to Detailed Rides LLC. Put them into your Google machine. Training camp, as we mentioned, underway tomorrow. So we'll have updates. Mason is back tomorrow. He's in LA for the day. I go to LA for the day sometimes. Charlie, don't you? Don't you go to LA for the day?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, just
just
hop on a jet and get over there.
Yeah, exactly. No big deal. That's a normal thing that people do. Goody speaking tomorrow at 9:20. LaFleur speaking tomorrow at 9:50. Practices at 10:30, and then players are available after that. LaFleur will then speak on Thursday and on Friday. And so here we go. By tomorrow's show, we will have Goody on tape. We will have LaFleur on tape. We will be breaking down
Jonathan Gannon on tape. Maybe
it doesn't
just
say
in the future. I just want Jonathan Gannon.
Doesn't say assistant coach. Hold on.
I just want Jonathan Gannon to actually hear him talk.
Sunday, Matt LaFleur will talk at 9:50. None of these players available. It doesn't say assistant coaches anywhere here. So
I feel like they should have them available, man. I want to hear from these guys.
Nope. Yeah. Aaron writes in on Facebook or on YouTube that we gave up Jaden Fielder to get Lance McCullers Jr., and we released Lance McCullers Jr. Yeah, but we also got Colton Gordon. That's the point. He hasn't pitched so great in his first 2 starts for Nashville, but we got a starter. Lance McCullers was just a rental. There was nothing there. When there's nothing there, there's nothing.
Just see what you got. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I don't know that Jaden Fielder's that high of a prospect anyway. Yeah, and that's all. So, again, our wishes to everybody in the Menasha, Nina, Appleton area. And this is the Mason Crosby Show.